person. Go ahead.
Salute, salute, and welcome back to the Jaguar Wright Effect, the Jaguar Wright Show here on YouTube. And I just want to say it's Tuesday, so you already know it's time to talk. Let's see who's in the house right quick. Okay, we have some new members in the building. What's going on? Last Son of Crypt time. Welcome, welcome. And we have Jadivio. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome to the family.
Good DVO, GDVO.
What's going on, Auntie Leah? How you doing? Mod extraordinaire. We got Janae Lackey in the building. Carla Turner. I guess you finished over there and made it just in time to come here. What's up? Going on, Maria? Maria, how are you? How are you? How are you? Oh, we got our girl Never. Somebody over there in the Jaguar Wright show said, I can't wait. Awesome. Our girl Myrna. What's going on, Myrna? Okay, who else do we have in the building? Anyone else? Ah, the Drac Counting Prof. That's an interesting name. Welcome, welcome. We got A Reed in the building. Hey. Go Cree Cree is in the building. Salute. Golden Aries over there, the Jaguar Wright show. We have who else? Oh, baby girl Tay is here. Salute, salute. Oh, Barbara Martinez. Oh, and by the way, for those of you who are having conversation regarding Patreon or Kick, last week we had some unusual things that we had to deal with in the backdrop, and so we didn't do last Wednesday and we didn't do last Sunday, but I believe we're back to format this week.
Yeah, yeah. Let's surprise them with the kick. We'll talk about it later. I think I got an
Oh,
idea.
oh,
We'll
hey
surprise.
Barb, what's
Yeah.
going on, Brett? Stretch and learn, awesome. I like that name. Hey Brandon, Brandon be cutting up in the chat sometimes. Always a great sense of humor. Oh, what's going on? Jessica Soto, Jersey City in the building. Archangel Michael is in the house. What's going on? We
Our
got
brothers from down
Kimberly.
under. What's up, man?
Down, deep down under. We have Quincy Brown. What's going on, Quincy? Alden. LOL. Clearly, a Kanye fan.
Hmm.
Okay. Is that pretty much okay? Well, that's we have lovely me in the building. You know, we always like to shout out our members. I see we got OKC going on over there on the show. All right. So yeah, salute to all of our members. And for those of you who are here new to the channel, Jaguar Wright Effect, it's our community channel. So hold on a second. Let me see how I'm feeling today. I don't know. I might be a little light bright today. But for those of you who know, we're members powered, channel and community. So please grab a membership, become a part of the Jaguar Right Effect community, because that's what this channel is. It's where we gather, it's where we talk, it's where we share ideas, it's where people get to know me for me. There's been a lot of me on YouTube throughout the years, and it hasn't been me, or it's been overly manipulated me, or out of context me. But here you get to know me and our community. And the Jaguar Wright show is where we've done more, I guess you can say, our more produced content, not so open. Here we're kind of like more of a podcast style, but we will be having some more produced, I guess you could say, formatted content over there on the Jaguar Wright show. So
Yeah.
we let you guys peek in over there because you're part of the family as well. And if I'm correct, we do have members over there, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Yes. So yeah, salute to all of our members. Uh and hey, we here. What's going on, Cadillac? Cadillac is in the building. Hey. Our kick ass and one and only moderator over there on Kick.
No, we got another. I think the one and only
Oh,
King on Kick.
oh,
In
one
fact,
and only.
I don't know why I didn't add the Kick stream, but my bad. We'll get.
I mean, we usually use that for other things. This is, we're still trying to figure out exactly how we do what we do, right? Because we're growing. So
Right. Yep.
Florida's in the building. Salute to Florida. Guys, don't mind me. I'm going to cam down a little bit. I'll be back and forth. You'll be able to see me. But I wanted you guys to know that I am here. I am in the building. I'm a little light skinned, but I'm in the building. Actually, I think I'm starting to get a little bit more sun. I see my color starting to come in. So
You were over on if people didn't know, you were over on what the what is it? What's her channel? Jonesy in the morning? Is it what is it? Is it
Jonesy in the morning, I believe. What is it? Pink
yeah,
Champs? Is
Pink
that the name
Champs?
of it?
Yeah,
The Jonesy in the
I think
morning.
so. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
that was a good uh conversation over there this morning. If you guys did not know, definitely want to go check that out.
Well, I didn't really do a whole lot of over promotion about it. We didn't. It's funny. We tend to. Once upon a time, I used to got to post it everywhere. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be there. And the truth is, I don't know. We get weird followers, like little snot boogers.
Mm,
Like to follow us from platform to platform. Actually, a few of us followed us over there today. It was
yeah,
really interesting. But I'm grateful for everyone that did see it. We saw members in the house. We saw my yacht was over there. Who else was over there? Who else did I see? My yacht was putting up comments, so I did see that. And there were a couple other people from the Instagram world. And it's crazy because once upon a time, Instagram was like my epicenter for posting.
yeah.
And, when I found out how much money people made off of my Instagram content, I shut it down. And then they started censoring me over there. And I'll never forget that. Do you remember that day I got on, and they literally snatched the audio while I was midstream?
Mm-hmm.
That was crazy. That was crazy. Oh, thank you, G. Appreciate you. Thank you for the jewels. Thank you for the eagle. Fly, eagles, fly, right? Oh, and salute to you, last son of Krypton. Salute and welcome to the family. So it's been interesting. Where do we start? Because it's not even the weekend wrap up, and there's just, I mean, some of what I talked about with Jonesy earlier today. We're going to be having a more in depth discussion here tonight. Um, a lot of people forget that me talking about the industry, let me cam up because I want people to really see me and understand. There's a lot of people that sit online, talk about the industry, talk about celebrities, talk about inside sources, talk about this, talk about that. But most of them do not have a real background in the industry, real connection to the industry, or worked inside the industry. You listen to a lot of people guessing, you listen to a lot of people hypothesizing, you listen to a lot of people pontificating, but it's different when it comes from someone who's actually in the industry. And I remember I remember like hearing like certain bloggers like Trasha K and the Lovely Teas and all of those people. And they were always talking and talking and talking about industry gossip, industry this, industry that. But nobody ever questioned them. And they were never a part of the industry. Had nothing to do with it. They were busy trying to get in. They were stalking, spying, doing all kinds of stuff. Allowing, different entertainers and artists to give them the information that they wanted them to run with online. Not necessarily always the truth. The truth is, most people in the industry lie about everything. They lie about everything. They do not want the public knowing the truth. Once upon a time, it used to be gossip columnists, and then the internet age came, and then it became bloggers, right? And now,
Mm-hmm.
podcasts. I mean, part of the reason why all of these rappers are now becoming podcasters and things of that nature is because they're like, hey, I was in the industry. If you can listen to these people who had no idea what was going on, or people that we used to pay to talk, then you might as well come and talk to us. They on
And
their job.
they can get in front of particular stories that may come out about them. Hint, hint.
Indeed.
The Fat Joe situation. You get what I'm saying?
Indeed. They on their Joe to see. Come and talk to me. And they get sponsorship, like things that other podcasters have to work really, really, really long and hard for to get. People in the industry who are now doing this can come in and get it right away because of who they are. Honestly, that's the one part of this whole blogging, podcasting game that we've really never taken advantage of. We've never sought out sponsorship, and I think that should change.
Yeah, definitely.
That should change. Um, so yeah, for anybody that's watching, if you're looking for a platform to promote, whatever you have going on, whether it be a product or music or whatever the case may be, we are now going to be opening our platform up for sponsorship. So, and to promote what you got going on, as long as it doesn't conflict with our views, morals, and overall outlook. Because we just ain't, we ain't just doing that with anybody. Be very
And And don't sleep. We have the podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
You
Indeed.
would be able to get your business heard through there as well. So,
Absolutely.
whether you're local or national, I mean,
Or
or if you want to, yeah, you want to become more national internet. Yeah,
so, all right. And guys, by the way, when I cam down, it's because I'm doing stuff off camera that I don't want nobody seeing.
right, like digging in your nose and
No, not like digging in my nose, like munching on dragon fruit.
right. There you go.
So anyway, um, yes, cruelty-free artistry approved, indeed. So, long and short of it, it's been a heck of a week, right?
It has.
Now, where do we start? I guess we can start with the whole Nolan Wells, or should we start with just a little loose rap?
I mean, yeah, whatever is clever. Whatever is clever.
Okay, so
I mean,
I have a question to ask you. How do you feel about the Brittany Renner crash out?
so wait, uh you gotta put me up to speed. What happened? She crashed out and what did she do?
Oh, so okay, well, all right, let me okay, now that I don't have anything that I'm munching on. So Brittany Renner, for those of you who know or don't know, because honestly, I never paid attention to these chicks. I don't pay attention to these basketball wives, these reality TV women. I don't. It's not my thing. Like, you have to understand, as somebody who was a part of the industry and an artist, I watched these groupie chicks who were looking for a celebrity husband. Like, I watched all of these chicks. So, like, I stayed away. Salute Auntie Leah. Like, I just ignored them. You know what I mean? It was so interesting hearing Jonesy, just talk about me from her recollection of me as an artist. Like, I was never about all the hoopla and the this, that, and the other. I was really about the craft. And I was really about the community. Like, I was really about the work, the culture. So it's it, that wasn't my scene. Like, I recognized these chicks because they were all chasing after all of the different people that I was working with. And a lot of times I felt sorry for them because I knew what they had to do to be where I was, to be around the environments that I was around, because I was there for talent. They were there for, you know, different kind of talent. So it's bizarre. But now that I'm in the content creating space and we're talking about, pop culture, relative stuff, I find myself seeing more and knowing more. So the Brittany Renner chick is like, I guess I had no idea how far back she went with this whole social media thing. Like, I had no idea. Like, I think she came into my purview when she started messing with Kevin Gates and she was wearing the hijab and she was you know, a dime store Muslim, I guess. I'll call her a Timu Muslim. So, like, I had started noticing things and I saw her on Basketball Wives and I was like, this don't look right. What is a Muslim chick doing on Basketball Wives? Like, it's not adding up. But this girl has been around on social media apparently for a long time. She's spent years bragging about, wanting to be gangbanged.
What?
Yeah,
What?
like she was a thirst bucket. She was willing to do whatever it was. She was very light skinned, fair skinned, and she was playing that game. She had a baby with a basketball player named, what's his name, PJ Washington.
Okay.
And apparently, like at the end of her, or should I say the beginning of her third trimester, some stuff went down. I guess he cheated on her. There was some issues, and he threw her out. And she became a hip hop baby mom. Well, a basketball baby mom. So I guess that's how she was relevant to be on Basketball Wives. Even though
Wow.
when she was on Basketball Wives, she wasn't with, PJ. She was with Kevin Gates, who she's also no longer with. Apparently, they broke up. I don't know if he broke up with her, or I don't even know if it matters, but he went and got like some chick that's like 10 years younger than her, and he's moved on. So, anywho, she decided to get with a normal guy, a regular guy who wasn't in the public eye, and she's been going from celebrity relationship to celebrity relationship. And she meets this guy, and he starts talking about she's, his dream girl. And, just, he was just giving a lot of, he was love bombing. Let's just keep it real. He was love bombing,
Mhm.
talking about how he wanted to be like a stepdad to her son that she had with PJ, and he wanted to be there and build a life with her. I mean, basically, he was promising her that he would be a Russell Wilson without the football contract. So they yeah, they started a Patreon platform, and they were going to be doing couples content. And then something
Okay.
happened between them, and he swindled the Patreon out from underneath her. He used her to build up his relevance online, to build up the memberships, to do all of that, to create this monetized platform for him off of her, I guess social media popularity and success. And then he changed all the passwords, changed the name of the platform, and invited everybody to stay and follow him in his journey. He got rid of her.
Wow.
So now, like, she had to move back home to Mississippi, oddly
Mm.
enough. And so basically, she's getting online now, and she's just crashing out on anybody that has anything to say about what's going on with her life. Either she's sitting online, she's complaining about how hard her life is, managing life off of her income and not having someone to take care of her. And, she's staging fights with PJ. She's going off about him because PJ has now gotten married, and I guess he's having kids with his wife, and they're living the life. I think he just signed a new contract for $90 million for the next couple of years. So like, and I mean, she gets $6,000 a month in child support.
Okay.
That's that's reasonable.
That is very reasonable.
That's reasonable, except for the fact that he just signed a contract for 90 million.
Okay.
So there's a
And
lot of girls who get more money than that for
well, of
child support.
course. And what did she go to
Not,
school? What did she
huh?
go to school for?
I don't know. I don't know if she went to school. I don't think she did any of that from what I can see.
And she
She's a reality TV and online personality. I think
so
that's
she
her.
she she really doesn't have any real talent.
Yeah, she
She
has a talent for being online and thirst trapping online and getting engagement and getting streams, and
okay.
that's
So
her. We're talking, Yvonne. We are talking about Brittany Renner.
I like what. Uh, Let me see. Little Duval actually said something. I should have pulled this up. Um,
A
because
comment.
it's yeah.
Hold
And now when you're mentioning her, when it comes to Brittany Renner, right? Um, he made a comment, and it just came to my mind as far as like because you're talking about who she is, and he basically said that Brittany Renner looks wise is kind of like um, she wasn't all that, and people hyped her because she was light skinned. Um,
Yeah. I
hold
mean,
on,
I
I'm gonna
felt
actually
the
pull
same
up.
way. And she's like her rants that she's been doing lately, everyone is still in love with her. And they're just mad at her because they couldn't make her. Like there's a clip of her and she was like, "You want to make a bag real fast? Get pregnant by an athlete. They're really stupid." Like she says stuff like that.
See, my thing is, so she's crashing out. She's mad. Yeah, this is. I just pulled this up. Little Duval said Brittany Renner never looked good. She was just light skinned. And I guess, she clapped back and said, "The confidence is admirable. Never in history have you been with any woman's dream guy. Uh, you short, wide mouth bitch. Wow."
Yeah, she's
So,
been going.
so she's
She
crashing. Yep.
went, no, she went at academics.
Oh, what did she say about Act?
Well, because academics came forward and was like, I feel bad for you because you down bad and you back in Mississippi with your family. And now look at you. You should have just stayed with PJ, but you was tripping because he was cheating on you. But at least he was your cheater. He said, I told the same thing to Cardi, like Offset was her cheater, and now you getting with all these other guys, and they running around, they running down on you. PJ was your guy and you fumbled the bag. So now here you are. You're older. These guys are looking for, somebody with less miles. And he was like, and I hate to see it for you. And he was like, how about, I could hook you up with a podcast. Maybe I'll put you on a podcast or whatever the
Hmm.
case may be.
You got to come
And
work.
no, she went off on him. She was just like, all of these dudes that I was with, you don't know how they feel about you. They all think you a weirdo and you a wimp and you a this and you a that and you speaking highly of them, but they think you nothing and not on your best day could you get with anybody better than me and you'll never be able to get a chick like me and whoopty whoopty woo and yeah and you in love with me and when I came there you was all up in my face and you was treating me like this and treating me like that and like she just went she's going off on everyone like she's staging like when she's doing like the visitation with the child's father PJ like she's flipping out on him, she's bringing her mom along, they flipping out on him, she talking crazy about his wife. Meanwhile they sitting on social media in her closet just stunting
Hmm.
with all of the things. Like, it's crazy. And then recently, she got into like this whole thing with them about school supplies. And she was like, I got a baby daddy that don't want to, he's supposed to, when it comes to things that have to do with school, he's supposed to pay for everything. And all I get is $6,000 a month child support. And he's too cheap to do this. He'll do for all his other kids, but he won't do for mine because he's still mad at me. And like people are sitting there in her comments saying, "You get $6,000 a month. How much is school supplies? Like $200."
Not even that.
They like, how is it? How do you need him to buy the school supplies
I mean,
when you
Dollar
get six
Tree.
thousand dollars a month
She can go to Dollar Tree and
for your child though? And so She's like, no, but it says it any agreement, anything dealing with school, he's supposed to pay for it. And everybody's like, yo, you do realize the child support is for the child, not for you. And so yeah, it's really cringy.
Well, if you want to know my take on it,
Yeah, as a man, I'm curious to know what you think.
she number one. Okay, so I get it. If you were with a basketball player and he's cheating, you don't want to get no diseases. You don't want to be out there looking stupid. I get it, but pe- peep the game. I guess that's what academics was saying. They have different types of relationships. There's, the regular blue pill relationship, square relationship, and you got your kind of red pill where people do all kind of other, things, and then there's a black pill. She should have realized she's in the industry or entertainment, and her mate is in sports. So they gonna do what they gonna do. Not like that, but at the same time, it's like if it's
Not just like
respectful. Well,
that.
yeah, I
Just
mean, but if it's respectful, um, Act was basically just saying like play the game. Look at like what Shawnee O'Neal did. Everybody in LA knew Shaq. Shaq was anyway. But Shawnee played the game. Do you agree or disagree?
Shawnee got that bread.
That's what I'm talking about. So
Shaq woke up one day and was short like almost $10 million and didn't know where it went. Next thing you know, Shawnee had a television show.
right, and see that's if this Brittany Renner chick was smart, that's what she would do, play the game. But I get it. If you wanted to, if she wanted to be in a square relationship, a regular relationship, she shouldn't have gotten with celebrities, rappers, ball players or whatever.
Yeah,
She should have
she
just kept it that way.
she got with Kevin Gates and then she did the whole Muslim thing and she was wearing the hijab and she was like following the laws and she wasn't looking men in their eyes. She wasn't like, she switched it all up. But then the second that they broke up, she was back to slut attire.
Hmm. Yeah. She's just mad at the choices she made. I'll give it up to Six to God if she had a video talking about poor puss management. And
Oh,
yeah, that's I would have just that's her right there. She's
somebody else said that about her too. I
her
can't
the man.
remember who it was, but somebody said that she wasn't managing her her cuda well.
I mean, and Little Duval got a point. She's just a light skinned, decent look. She's not all that. She's I. If I were her, I would have. She should have just played the square part, which is
Thinks everyone is in love with her,
well. That
and she
means
thinks
that
all of those men that left her want her back.
she probably got a little bit of histrionic personality disorder. If she's doing all this crashing out, that's probably what's going on. I'm not a. I didn't say. I'm just saying allegedly, and I'm just as me guessing. I don't know her, but and I'm not a you know mental health expert. But what I'm saying is, yeah, she should have just stayed in the regular realm, regular world. Got her a
She did.
exec guy.
She got her a regular guy, and he stole her Patreon.
Well,
Like she
I
said
don't.
to herself, somebody said to her, "You need to just get a regular guy." She said, "Yeah, I've tried that too, and no luck there." Like,
Well, I'll say it like this: Karma's a bitch. Ain't no telling. I don't know all about her details of her relationship, but I'm just saying she should have just stayed in the regular square realm and not went that whole route with Kevin Gates, got with this PJ guy. Like if she'd have did that, she probably would have been a better. Her life would be better. She'd
she
be
would have
looking at
never made it
someone.
to LA. She'd still have been in Mississippi, and now she
Now
didn't
she
have to
probably
do
would have.
it.
She probably would have got to Texas or Atlanta or something. I mean, but still, she. What they say, uh, she want to be more than a one night stand, but the whole need a a job and a man and a retirement plan, right? Um,
Hey,
she should have just. That's what I'm saying. It's poor puss management when it really breaks it down. Like she's pretty enough to where she could have gotten someone make six figures, just lived a normal ass life and sat her ass down somewhere. I don't know. That's just me though.
Not when you running around throwing you see a man like that is not interested in having a ran through either.
No, I know. See, the thing is she wanted to do all these gangbangs and all like
She was
she's
doing all of that. She was doing all of that.
see. So she's already she's past.
She
She's
was doing all.
damaged. She's been damaged. Yeah.
I mean, let's just at this point in time, she's a used Chevy with a lot of miles on it, and she's not as young as she used to be. And now, thank God for her that she has that. Welcome, Princess. Welcome, Veronica, our girl from over there on Kick.
Oh
But
yeah. Hey.
it's it is what it is. Like when I look at it, I'm just like, you should have had a better plan.
Yeah.
You should have had a better plan. And if social media is what it is, then it seems like my thing is how is social media, like she was sitting up there, PJ just mad at me because it's his dream to stream. He would so much rather be streaming than practicing every day and all of this and all of that. And I'm like, how when you had to move back to Mississippi and he just signed a contract for like 90 million? Like how Sway? Like the way she talks to me, it just sounds delusional. Like it sounds like she's got to convince, like she has to keep this air of extreme confidence to prove to people that she's really not hurt.
She's not happy, you can tell, and she has to find her happiness. I'll keep it a buck. I mean, everybody could be
I don't know if a
whatever.
person like her can be happy.
Well, that's what I was about to say. I don't know if a person, like, I don't care about the sexuality or this. You want to do all these types of relationships. You want to get trains random. I don't. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But be content or find your contentment, find your happiness. She's not a person that seems like she will be able to find her happiness. So good luck. Just don't mess up nobody's life. Try. Yeah.
I'm just kind of shocked, like, cause I'm like, she don't got no OnlyFans.
That part, she probably come up
I
with that. I don't know.
I
Yeah.
thought most of these girls, when they start falling down on their luck, get the OnlyFans. Look at Stacey Dash.
Oh God. Stacey Dash
Stacey,
got an OnlyFans.
you didn't know Stacey Dash got an OnlyFans?
I'm not checking for 60-year-old cooch.
Stacey Dash has an OnlyFans.
Like I said, she's 60 years old. That's
She's
crazy.
60 years old and she
And she
making
looks good.
videos. She looks great,
But
but
I'm
she's
not
doing a little stiff two-step and
I'm
sucking
not
on lollipops, and
I'm not trying to sign up for only grands.
she doing the orthoretic sex kitten.
That only grands. That's what it is.
Yeah. Yes, Stacey Dash has an OnlyFans. She over there trying to get that money.
Damn, that's wild. I see.
That's the economy we're living in.
Oh no, I know that, but I'm just
That's
saying,
the
even
America
just
we're living in.
I just was never the one to try to do anything on film. Like yeah, but some people, I get it. They don't have no shame. I get it. She
Second chance groupies get to come and they get to look at the girl from Clueless, the girl that they could never get. They get to look at the girl from Mo Money and they get to whack off.
true. You right. I guess you might as well capitalize off of it. I guess, huh? But
It's if
all money ain't good money.
Nia Long is doing Playboy spreads and getting bucket naked on the plantation penthouse,
Hmm.
Then that Stacy Dash over there on the OnlyFans doing it.
That's part of the poor puss management part. I would say it like this: the sisterhood of failure. I'm throwing them in that boat right there. Stacey Dash, Brittany Renner. That's just sad.
Yeah,
But hey,
all these light skinned girls, they they going through. Who else is light skinned going through it right now? There's somebody else I was thinking of that's just
about
lost their mind.
Lisa Ray.
No, not Lisa Ray. Lisa Ray is, she podcasting and she doing her thing,
Not not Amanda
Oh,
Seals.
yes, yes, Amanda Seals. Amanda Seals is now doing radio.
Yeah, she's over at KBLA. Yeah,
Mhm.
on Fridays. Yeah, you can check her out.
Yeah.
She
Good luck.
added me to the IG and all that.
Yeah.
I'm not even. Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck. She better not be sending no DMs
Oh no,
looking for
hell no.
a producer.
Nah. But that's another convo, Jag.
Well,
That's the
no,
that's that's the let's pivot to this conversation. A lot of these podcasters, like you said earlier, about them
mhm.
taking the rappers, the old rappers taking over the podcast space.
Yeah.
It's kind of played out, but I guess that's the only place for them to go and land because number one, no one's buying records anymore.
No.
No one's buying records anymore. In fact, I just got word there's a whole lot of lawsuits in regards to music. Um, Sony, they're suing a company, Udio, or Sony. Yeah, Sony filed a lawsuit against an AI music startup, Udio, like
Really?
audio but without the A. Yeah, so Sony is accusing Udio of infringing on more than 30,000 recordings that it used to train its AI, and it used a lot of Sony music. So, like in all honesty, you see the big tech companies. That's why we just out and about and we're hearing this AI music and it's horrible. It's horrible, you know. But they already realized a lot of these rappers, entertainers that were from yesteryear. They already realized that has come and gone. You're not We're not gonna have these breakout artists anymore like how we did in the past. Now everything is gonna be these tech companies kind of essentially, like you said, creating music for the simulation. We're not gonna have originality anymore, like from real artists, stuff like that. So a lot of these old rappers, DJs, or what, that's where they're landing. They're going over there,
Into the
and
podcast
they're
space. Yeah.
and they don't want any newcomers. They don't want people like that are just organically dope at podcasting to get out there and shine. Just like certain entities don't want true independent music to make a breakthrough. Like they want to control everything right now. They can't have any more, because we talking about Andrew Tate. That was Kevin Samuels. That was like lightning in a bottle. I mean, Andrew Tate's a piece of shit. We know that. Kevin Samuels, people could agree or disagree about who he was, but
Can't
he had a
deny
great intention.
success in that space. But also you have to look at the time where all this stuff popped off. It was during the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly.
They had
Something that
captive
wasn't.
audiences and
Yep.
people that had no idea what life was going to look like on the other side of this. So
Right.
they were able to like sell you know an image or an idea. When it comes to Kevin Samuels, a lot of people can argue. A lot of people, like I told you, tried to get me into that whole going
Yeah.
after him because he hates black women and whoopty whoopty woo. And I realize now the whole point of that was to create engagement because my name and what it was doing in the algorithm and his name and what it was doing in the algorithm. And I get it now. Um, because the funny thing is when I was first getting online back in 2020 and going
That's
hard in the media
that's when
space,
he was that's when he was coming up.
exactly. But I wasn't, I wasn't focused on monetary gain and platform building. I was literally using it to promote whatever it was that I was working on
Yeah,
and for awareness. And so here I am now, I'm on the other side of it and I see it all. But there were a lot of people who were invested in me not wanting to take it there. If I had have taken it there, like in that way, like if I had a producer like you in 2020, my platforms would look so much different now. There would be so many other things that would have happened. Um, but here we are, and we're great. You know what I mean? Like I'm for all that I could complain about, I can't complain about what we're building because what we're building is organic, it's clean, and it's infiltration free. It's sucker free.
there we go.
So that's cool, but it's like now it's different. Like I'm watching these new people come in, these new streamers coming in, and now it's all about the streaming world, the in real life streams,
Yeah,
like long form content, which is interesting because here on YouTube, long form content isn't really being pushed like that anymore. But
no,
other platforms, well, unless you're streaming for like 6+ hours straight a
right.
day, then you can catch. But like it's all about staying online, being
Yeah,
online, staying
yeah,
online, being online.
yeah.
Your life.
And that's a whole nother topic, but we could get into that another day because just like when you mentioned Truman Show, let me tell you something about Gen Alpha. They're not going to be doing the goofy stuff that the generations before were doing online. They're not going to be leaving digital like that. But they're in some uh, IRL stream and 24/7, or if it's 8 hours, it's enough for them to have at least some type of digital footprint. They may not have the social media like how we had it. We went from Black Planet to MySpace to Facebook, and it just went off to other places. These kids don't have that, and they're not going to have that. But if they're streaming, that's just a way for them to, yeah.
Yeah, but they're still being monitored.
Well, I know. I'm just saying that's how we were monitored. If
Mm.
people ain't peeped the game, that's how we were monitored from, like I just said, from Black Planet to MySpace to Facebook to wherever after that. That's how we've been monitored. Now they'll monitor them via the IRL streams.
And it's just watching these people willing to devote this much time to being online, and it's really interesting because whether or not the world has noticed it, we've become a surveillance state, but
Oh,
we're
hold on. Hold,
ourselves.
hold on. I was just about to see. I'm glad you said that. I was going to go there. I was going to
Mhm.
tie in. I'm glad you said that. Let me pause for a second. I was going to tie in and say 10 years back when I started noticing my now adult kids, their social media habits, what were they doing? They were looking at people playing video games. And I'm like, what the is wrong with y'all? That's weird. Why don't y'all play the games? They used to look at people play video games. I was just sitting there like, what is right? So this ties into what you just said about, you know, just basically the mass surveillance of the game.
Yeah.
Um That's what's. Shout out to the OG, Siddiqui Bakari. He's been talking about this for years. But this whole AI, we need AI. No, the AI is just for surveillance. Remember, they had Sarah Connor locked up because she was trying to blow up a data center. It's like, and you look at her now, like they thought she was crazy then, and you look at her now, like, oh no, she.
Now there's data centers everywhere, sucking up all the water, surveillancing everyone.
Yep,
It's nobody wants to accept the reality that technology and the technocracy are not here for friendly use.
not at all.
This is a hostile takeover. So, in the midst of all of that, while they're doing that, are we paying attention to the fact that our news feeds are being clogged and jammed with all kinds of inflammatory content that's keeping us engaged in matters like just got us glued while we're not paying attention to everything else that's going on. And you guys know that our platforms are really all about awareness. And because of everything that's happened to me, that some of you have watched and been here to see all along, the importance of exposing disinformation and media manipulation is super duper important, especially now. So now that we've gotten here, shall we get into it?
Yep.
At all?
Yeah.
Okay. So right now we have two cases that are going on. And it's funny because we really should have three cases that we should be paying attention to right now. And in all of the cases, there's an African American male at the head of it. We have the Carmelo Anthony case, which has gotten auspiciously neglected now. We have the Nolan Wells case, which has become like the biggest media case being talked about nationally, hands down. But in the midst of all of that, we have the David case, the D4VD case, which should be like the biggest case of all. And yet, it really isn't. It really isn't at all.
Jag.
Mhm.
When I just FYI, you guys, last day of the preliminary talks, I did pop up and I did go to the court
Mhm.
and to the floor, and yeah, Fort Knox, you guys, you were not taking your phones in there. They were not playing when it came to photography, stuff like that. I think we're gonna definitely get into the courtroom when the trial starts, but there's going to be so many other trials going on. Trust me, I already know that there's going to be so many other trials going on when this whole D4DV thing is going. So we got to be like, we're going to spread ourselves thin, getting a lot going. Yeah, like for and like I said, when it was that last day, I knew something was happening because there were certain people coming in. I saw certain DAs come in. It's like, what is up? What's really going on? And to what you were saying before, this is a CYA for the industry.
I've been saying that from the very beginning. And now that this is definitely going to trial, we're going to get into what's actually going on. So I just wanted to string all of these cases together, right? So let's talk about Carmelo Anthony. There is a update. I'll keep it short and sweet. August of next month, there are 2 hearings for him. The first hearing will be with a judge who is not Judge Roach,
Thank
and
God.
Carmelo's legal team will be sitting with this new judge to discuss whether or not Judge Roach will be removed from the Carmelo Anthony case altogether, and his rulings pretty much just be thrown out. The second hearing, which is supposed to happen the following day after that hearing, will be to determine whether or not Carmelo Anthony will actually receive a new trial. Now, at the time of the Nolan Wells unfortunate situation, we were just starting to get into some real brass tack stuff with the Carmelo Anthony case. Finding out some of the backhanded tactics that were used to railroad him into not having a proper defense for himself. Because the truth is, if he could have testified for himself, he would have. When I think about Nancy Grace talking about, he didn't even try to defend himself. He didn't even get on the stand. That's how you know he's guilty. And they're sitting there and she's crying with the dad. And, nobody's talking about the fact like that they did everything that they could do to railroad this kid, to railroad this case, and to make sure that it had one outcome only: Carmelo Anthony being convicted of first degree HOMicide. Like, that was the goal. And you want to know the other thing that I'm really bothered by that no one's paying attention to? Speaking of media manipulation,
What was that?
Charleston White's involvement.
Oh God.
Charleston White's involvement is very important, and I think we really need to discuss that because he got in good with the family early, long before the trial. Now, if he's what I think he is, and he works for them good old boys allegedly, then that means they had somebody black with media presence working that family and gathering information and encouraging them to follow along with what the good old boys wanted for their case. And see, in my opinion, I believe this to be a very real thing, and I don't think that I'm being crazy by saying this. When you look at how quickly he turned on that family around the time of the verdict, and then started trolling that family with that watermelon felon t-shirt. But if you remember right before then, that Dr. Matthews, that woman from Houston, so-called activist and so-called Black Panther, came up there and with the cameras and shout out to Charleston White. Thanks for bringing us in. I would have been here sooner. And we got this on the judge and we got this on the prosecutor. And this person is a weirdo and that person is a weirdo. And we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And then the next thing you know, they just vanished. They got their 5 minutes and they did their little press and they got their clips for social media. And then the next thing you know, Charleston White is calling Carmelo Anthony all kinds of names. And let's not forget the whole Jake Lang of it all, him showing up, leading up to the trial, demanding that he be found guilty. Like, all of these things were working together for the demise of that case. And then he was shipped off. just like that. Now, thank God there was enough noise that was made, and salute to the people who donated to help him get a new legal team, a legal team that would actually work on his behalf. But look at how quiet it's been ever since they started unveiling the manipulation, the judicial manipulation, the way the prosecution stacked the deck against him so his civil liberties and rights were trampled all over and he couldn't actually fairly defend himself. And the ineptitude of his defense attorney, who went along with everything while they had Charleston White there, encouraging his family to go along with everything. You know?
Yeah.
Why is nobody talking about the updates on the Carmelo Anthony case? And like I said, as the judicial misconduct started becoming like more aware to the public, next thing you know, automatic shift over to Nolan Wells. They were both kind of in the feeds for about 48 hours. And then from the second that Don Lemon got on it, and then Ben Crump came in, and then they brought in Al Sharpton. From the second Al Sharpton came in, the Carmelo Anthony cases, you know, who's talking about it? And it's almost as if it like Superman kissed away what Charleston White did
Yeah.
while he's still making content. And he's still getting views, sitting down with certain content creators. Like, why is nobody holding this guy accountable for what he's doing to the community, for what he did to that family, for the Judas of it all, and the way he manipulated that family? Because in my opinion, I think he was working for the Metcalf side all along. You know, people talking about the Metcalf boys, the twins had been in trouble
Mm-hmm.
before Austin had passed away for writing racial slurs. All of that got very quiet. Very, very quiet. Why? Why was it so quiet? And then all of a sudden, here comes this case. Nolan Wells. Now, the Nolan Wells case for me is it's particularly triggering because as a mom who's lost a grown son and no real answers and everybody got their story straight, right? And the police not really cooperating and local law enforcement and the DA not really cooperating. I get what this family is going through completely. It's terrible. You've lost your child, and meanwhile you got people playing about what happened to your baby. It's terrible. But I don't know. I don't see this the way everyone else sees this. And I see what people are doing. They're making a big deal about it. They're creating a lot of hoopla about it. But when the clout chasey media pundits start like did you hear Stephen A. Smith talking about this?
Me?
Yeah. Did you hear?
No, I didn't. He had something to say about it.
Yeah. Something happened to Nolan Wells. Everyone needs to accept it. There needs to be answers. There needs to be accountability. But just because something happened to him doesn't mean that those poor young white boys did it. Like he's drawing a line in the sand. Like he's 6 on one hand, half a dozen in the other. Meanwhile, he's kind of like running interference for the Tatum of it all. And Officer Tatum is an APAC beneficiary, and just, I just find it funny that those boys lawyered up, didn't want to talk to anybody. There's been no official interviews from the boys on that boat until Tatum. Like Brandon Tatum, that's who y'all sit with. That looks suspect in itself. Just absolutely suspect. Because Tatum is probably one of the most performative of the black MAGAs out there. And now they have him going after Crump and going after Al Sharpton and race baiters and these boys this and these boys that. We've had 18 different stories about what actually happened in Nolan Wells. And now we have this picture of him in a boat with something, what's supposed to be his leg hanging over the side, that someone filmed and took these pictures. And I'm just trying to figure out who was taking pictures of them on a boat while they were sinking.
Wow, right.
Like, and now we have not the 911 call, but the emergency call to SEA SEA tow, because their bilge pump had broken. The boat was taking in water. They were starting to sink and they needed help. And we have this audio now that's out here. And I don't know. I think we should is it time? Let's take a listen.
Okay. Well, first off, just let me know if you want me to go straight to the audio. But I do have the woman who produced the audio. She's explaining how she came up with the audio. She didn't use AI, etc. This is pretty lengthy, but we could just go to.
Let's hear her out then, I guess.
I play this, I want to quickly explain what I did, what you're looking at on the screen, and why I chose to approach this audio the way that I did. As a professional audio engineer with experience in dialogue editing, I decided to work on that CTO call using traditional audio processing techniques rather than relying on any AI voice separation or AI enhancement. My goal was pretty much to preserve as much of the original recording as possible while making the quieter dialogue and background audio easier to hear. So I basically used techniques such as subtractive EQ, compression, gain adjustments, noise reduction, frequency isolation, and other traditional processing methods. So what I did was I separated Vicky, the CTO dispatcher, from Warren and the audio originating from the boat so that I can concentrate more closely on what was happening behind and around Warren, pretty much on the boat. And I specifically chose not to rely on AI because aggressive AI enhancements and voice isolation tools can sometimes introduce artifacts and distort the speech or create ambiguity around the sounds that were originally present. And for something this serious, I wanted my processing to remain as conservative as possible. You'll also notice time code and dialogue written on the side of the screen and pop up during each segment. That dialogue represents what I personally hear as an audio engineer while processing and repeatedly reviewing these sections. I'm pretty much providing it as a listening reference, not as a declaration that my interpretation is the only possible interpretation. And that's important. I want you to listen for yourself, use headphones if you have them, listen closely, and decide with your own ears what you believe is being said. You can also return to the original unprocessed recording and compare directly with what you're hearing here. You'll also notice that my time code may not match the regular timestamp on the original uploaded video. And that's because I'm working inside a professional post-production timeline, digital audio workstation, basically using SMPTE time code, which in film, that's displayed in hours, minutes, seconds, and frames. Film and TV timelines are completely different from timestamps that you see when you're watching regular videos or when you're watching a movie and you hit pause. So basically, the time code on the screen is there to identify the precise location within my working session, not to represent the elapsed timestamp displayed by the original video player. And I hope that makes sense. For this first video, I'm sharing only approximately 37 seconds of the call. I originally intended to continue much further, but once I separated the dispatcher from the boat and started concentrating exclusively on the background dialogue, what I believed I was hearing became extremely difficult for me to process emotionally, and I needed to take a mental break. But I wanted to release this portion because some of the details that stood out most to me occur very early in the call, like right at the top of the call. And so I'm gonna let the audio play. Read my transcription if you want to reference, but don't allow it to determine what you hear. I want you to listen first, listen again, compare it with the original recording, and then judge it with your own ears. I hope this breakdown helps. And my
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership. Hey, up! Shut the fuck up!
okay, so
Okay.
Okay, so is there any way to listen to the call again? Can we go back
Yeah.
again? We
but don't allow
might
it
need
to
to listen to
determine
it a
what
couple
you hear.
times.
I want you to listen first, listen again, compare it with the original recording, and then
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership. Hey, up! Shut the fuck up!
Okay.
the original recording, and then judge it with your own ears. I hope this breakdown helps. And my
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership. Hey, up! Shut the fuck up!
Yeah. Y'all heard. That's why I didn't want to just play the audio. I wanted you to see the transcription as well.
Can I hold on a second? We
I can
need to
play it again. That's no problem.
well hold on a second because I'm trying to grab a picture right quick. I'm trying to see what's here online because there's a picture of them in the boat. I'm trying to find that picture with the leg. I'm looking right now. I'm not seeing it, but I'm looking at this boat. This boat isn't big. It's not a big boat. So I guess what I'm trying to understand is, why does it sound so far away? Like he's on the phone. Is it noise canceling?
So if you, that's why I let her explain what it is that she had done.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to understand, number one, she's going off of audio. If it was like I'm in the studio now, if I have a mic, and you know how studios work, you
Mm-hmm.
know, the main range for voice is, somewhere around, 1.25 kilohertz or something like that. And then when you're dealing with the phone, it's a different, it's still around there, but you got less to work with. As far as, like, if I just went to a movie set and I'm hearing everything and I can isolate just the audio, just the voice, then, so she is a audio engineer, and she's breaking it down in the beginning, just giving you the technicalities of what she did and why she didn't use AI, which is smart. So it may sound far, but the reality is, think about it. This person is on a phone. She's working with whatever she got, and she enhanced whatever she could.
No, I
So
understand that. I'm not questioning her enhancement. Can you do me a favor? Can you play it one more time? And
yeah,
Barbara said it's hard to read the captions. So
okay. Well, then what we're gonna have to do
no,
is
I'm gonna just
no,
take
no,
a
no.
look while you
I
play it,
got
and
it.
I'm
I
gonna
know what I
oh,
can. I know what I can do. I got it. Don't even trip. I'm gonna play it, and
okay.
I'm gonna have the caption up at the same time. Just give me 1 second, y'all. Okay.
And guys, please don't forget to hit the like. I know over in the vertical room we have a little over 40 people watching. It would be great if those likes could match the views. Appreciate you. And over here on our horizontal side, our studio side, okay, yeah, we can do a little better with these likes. Let's get the likes up, guys. We have almost 200 people over here, and yeah, we need at least 50 more likes. Okay, sorry about that.
Okay. Give me 1 second, because I'm just gonna crop this so that you can see exactly she had what she had done. All right. So I'm gonna put this up first,
Mhm.
and then I will replay. Let me see. Well, I'll have to do it this way. Um yeah, this is really messed up. I don't think, and it's a lot of people that I know, just they are researching what's not going to be like real justice produced if you really want to, speak on
We're
it
going to
like
get to
that.
that in a minute.
Okay, where did this screenshot go? Come on, guys. Give me 1 second, because this thing should have went here. All right. Okay, there we go. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are working to independently to try to help solve this case, because we know what it is. Hopefully, let me see if this works.
They're keeping everybody busy, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like before we even play this, I want to talk about how smart a game Mississippi is playing right now. Mississippi is playing a very, very, very smart game. It's funny. All of the celebrity fanfare, all of these nationally recognized activists and by a little small Mississippi town. I just wanted to say that before we get into it. But go ahead.
I hope this breakdown helps. And my
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership. Hey, up! Shut the fuck up!
So there's the if you guys cannot read that, I don't know how else I can, because I know the audio is still kind of,
No,
but you
I'm going to read what the transcription says.
yeah.
This is what, and just to be clear, all of this is still very muffled, very muddy. It's kind of clear, but even still, some of what's being said here could be something else. It could definitely translate to something else, but it says, can we cover it up? And this is all alleged conversation. Yeah, I thought all about that. Oh, you unalived him. He's already gone. Is he gone? Yeah. Nolan yelled, OMG. Nolan, wake up. Inaudible, but clear. I don't even know why you would say that. What do you mean, inaudible but clear? Like it's inaudible, but you can clearly hear it. I don't even know. And then Wyatt. The young man on the boat begins to talk to Cito. It yells, get, wake up, get TF up. Damn it, Bart. No knows really unalive now. So for those of you who can't see it clearly, that's me reading the transcription part that we have here.
And let's play the audio just one more time, just
One
so
more
that
time, yeah.
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and we have a membership. Hey, up! Shut the fuck up!
Yeah, if you
Now,
follow along.
that last thing that he said that's not in the transcript, it sounded like he said he's on the phone. Shut the F up.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It actually makes me want to see. I'm glad I still got my setup. I need to actually download the audio myself and do exactly what she said, because I understand when you guys understand audio engineering, and you don't need to use AI. You could, and all she did was bring up certain frequencies from that call that that would be voice, and just brought it up, and then you maybe cancel out the humming or the static or whatever. But like I would like to hear what the rest of this sound. She said she did
5
more, but
minutes.
it was just this is disturbing.
Well, it's disturbing, but do you know what I'm also hearing?
No, what's that?
A bunch of kids that are frantic.
Yep.
And that doesn't necessarily have to be foul play. Because guess what? If a bunch of drunk kids are on a boat and pushing and shoving gets to going, and somebody loses their balance on a boat that's taking in, you know what I mean? Like, when did the water start overtaking the boat? If Nolan was on that boat, is he the reason that that bilge pump was busted? Could he have fallen? Could he have busted his head? Everything that was just said there would still apply. Somebody could have pushed him. There's a lot of stuff that could have happened. But do you want to know what would make all of this so much less inflammatory? If we knew whether or not he had water in his lungs or not.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
See, focusing on this call takes away from the fact that knowing what was in his lungs could help us have a better understanding of this transcribed phone call. Like the simple fact that they still don't even have an official TOD, which is time of demise, is kind of crazy. The simple fact that we don't know what actually happened to his throat, though his body didn't have any lacerations or bruising, no defensive wounds, no burns like people were saying he was burned and tortured and all of that craziness. All we have is what Washington, D.C. via Dr. Mitchell said. And now these pictures, and now this audio, which isn't completely audible, even though, you know, she did a good job getting us some of that. But still, knowing the condition of his throat and knowing the condition of his lungs changes a lot. It creates context for this. Or am I wrong?
No.
So who's in control of the narrative, in all honesty? The media or Mississippi? Mississippi got everybody spinning by holding just those two little things. Just those two pieces of information. What happened to his throat? What happened to his lungs? Why are they holding that? That has nothing to do with the toxicology.
Mm-mm.
What I also find funny is that people are now saying that Nolan was drunk and that Nolan had this in his system and Nolan had that in his system. Well, I thought the toxicology report wasn't done. So how do we know what was in his stomach? How do we know what he had in his system? Or is that just what people are saying? At the end of the day, Mississippi is running this thing. They're running this thing. And all the media is doing is speculating, trying to figure it out. Like, I don't know. What do you think?
Yep, that's exactly what it is. They're just trying to figure out. That's it. They're just putting out, they're not putting out the real, they're not putting out the facts.
No, but people are sitting here demanding this and they want answers and they want answers and they want answers and they want answers. Well, you got Ben Crump, you got Al Sharpton, you got all of the celebrity star power behind it, and you telling me, like, what are you saying? You're not saying anything. You're not getting anywhere. That young man, Daniel, that sits over there with Don Lemon, said he's called down there and they're just not even answering the phones no more.
Yeah.
They are on a total media blackout. And we're not even going to talk about Nancy Grace.
Oh
We're
no.
not even going to talk. The idea that Nancy Grace, Officer Tatum, uh, Stephen A. Smith, Don Lemon, Running Point, and now you got characters like Funky Dineva getting in the conversation like it's a lot. It's too much. They are intentionally playing tug of war with what happened to this boy's life. Meanwhile, if they had just held off some, like I can understand one press conference. They've had what, like 4? I can understand a few interviews. They've had like what, 20? It's been media from the very jump. And my thing is, when you're going to the media and then you're turning this thing into a national conversation before you're even demanding getting basic information to be able to create context around whatever it is that you're trying to figure out, you're creating chaos. You're creating emotional chaos. And our country was already like on some, this poor black kid with before Nolan Wells. We were dealing with Carmelo Anthony, who was still alive. Like, we went from one situation now to another, like, oh, what happened? It's like emotional extortion. Or am I or is that too dramatic a term?
No, it's what you're saying, and it's done on purpose for those who have eyes that realize, like, we can just pull ourselves out of the emotionality of it and see for what it is. Like, that's what we're doing. We see for what it is, but it's just compound upon. They're just going to keep going at it, and it's you'll get tired. It's like when they gang stalk someone, right? Campaign, the goal is to wear you out. It's to wear us out. This is all. It's all to wear us out.
Listen to me. I think creating the whole Emmett Till situation, like, can we talk about that right quick?
Sure.
Because in my mind, for me, it's so manipulative, even bringing Emmett Till into this situation. I find it manipulative for me. Because the circumstances aren't the same. Emmett Till was minding his business, and a white woman lied on him for whatever reason she chose to. And a bunch of men got together and they snatched him and they obliterated that kid. Until he looked like something in a horror movie. That's not the same as this. we're not even going to talk about TMZ being involved, because the whole TMZ being involved is a whole nother thing. And the fact that TMZ is working with Dom Lemon, mm, it's just, yeah. Um, like Emmett Till's body was destroyed. They ripped him apart. That didn't happen to Nolan. Dr. Mitchell even said that. He didn't have any lacerations. There was no bruising. There was just what was at the back of his neck, at the nape of his head, which, if I'm correct, in the autopsy, there was no bruising on the outside. All of that was underneath the skin, correct?
Yep.
So how do you take Nolan Wells and compare that to something as traumatic as Emmett Till? Like, that's emotional manipulation. Nolan Wells was hanging out with the people that are being suspected to be his assailants. That wasn't Emmett's situation. Nolan Wells was apparently, they were all drinking and doing whatever they were doing and on boats and all of that. That's not what happened with Emmett Till. Like, comparing the two, it literally is, and this is why I use the word emotional extortion, because it's like they're trying to force people into outrage at every point they possibly can before we even get all the facts. Are these boys lying? Absolutely. You know what? I can create another scenario right now. Real simple. Here's another scenario of what could have possibly happened. Maybe they got into an argument. You know, it's funny because these boys that are now doing these interviews and they're coming forward talking, they're saying, oh, that wasn't Nolan yelling, that was me yelling. Oh, that wasn't Nolan yelling, that was me yelling. And I was tussling. I got into a fight. The friend who said he was there with him and said he saw what happened, even though he left earlier and he was never on the boat with them and he was with his uncle and they were drinking and he was fighting in the water. Like, it sounded like they were all getting drunk and fighting that day. No disrespect, but real white boy shit. Real Southern white boy shit. Trust me. Living in Shreveport, I've seen my fair share of white boys getting drunk, best of friends, and duking it out. And then the next thing you know, they back on their next can of Steel Reserve.
Steel Reserve or Blue Paps. Or that Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Pabst Blue Ribbon. Yeah.
That bullshit. Or some damn cores.
I'm just saying, like, that's I've seen that happen on a numerous of occasions. White boys, and guess what? Black boys who hang around with a bunch of white boys, that's the kind of time they on. What if they was in there fighting over the last beer?
Well, allegedly it was over a girl. Something, I think a few guys were talking to the same girl. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not even all into the.
I'm just saying, a push, a shove, being inebriated on a boat that's not steady. This isn't a big boat. Like I said, they was on that boat like Cuban refugees running from Castro. The boy said in the call, 7 people was on the boat. That wasn't a large boat. Somebody slip, somebody fall. Next thing you know, they bang their head. Guess what? What if somebody had illegal substances on them? What if they were all wasted? What if they were all worried about getting caught? Because let's just be real. To operate a boat in the South, you still need a boating license. You still need to get a boater's license. They were all underage. Like the guy who was sitting with Funky Dineva and Don Lemon on the Don Lemon show today with Daniel, and the other woman, I can't remember what her name was. Was it Rissy or Reese, something like that? I found it interesting that he was like, they weren't doing anything illegal. So what? They were drinking. Yes, they were. In the United States, you have to be 21 years old to drink. Am I wrong?
No.
Got it. And guess what? Nolan was an athlete, and I believe his friends were too. That's the kind of stuff you get caught getting drunk. That's the kind of stuff that can mess up what? Scholarships, fatal accidents, boating. Am I wrong?
No.
Maybe they panicked and threw him over and made sure that when they got towed, he wasn't around. Threw off every other illegitimate thing. That could have happened. And guess what? The dialogue that we saw, wouldn't that apply to a situation like that?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Is he alive? Is he alive? Nolan. Man, you unalived him. Man, check it. Like, shut the F up, he's on the phone. That conversation could apply to an accident just as much as it could apply to foul play or to an altercation. Am I wrong?
No.
So once again, we need to know. Clearly there wasn't a big brawl. There wasn't. Yeah, damn it, Bart. We need to have a better understanding. But what we do know from the autopsy in Washington, D.C., is that whatever happened in that boat, Nolan wasn't beaten. Can we all agree on that? Can we all agree on the fact that he was not beaten? Because if he had have been assaulted, for real, he would have had bruises on his body. Possibly even some kind of broken skin. There was none of that. There was no evidence that he had been roughed up. Dr. Mitchell said that. I don't know. Oda, weigh in on this. Help me understand.
Yeah. You want me to help you understand? I think you got a great understanding of what's going on. Like I said, the broader conversation, in all honesty, is just us being straight up and honest with the kids, because what it is you got a bunch of confused kids, and this may be a little bit
little shits.
Well, this may be a little bit deep, but for, I'll just say, the Black community or anyone that's conscientious of racism, I recommend listening to the Cows. It's a podcast, and it's not like what we do here, and not to take away from what we do here, because a lot of stuff we're dealing with is entertainment. But it's a brother named Gus T Renegade. This dude's been doing this for real, deep, breaking down racism, talking about a lot of stuff that America's not comfortable talking about. And when it comes to race and how, you know, we shouldn't be drunk around certain people, we shouldn't partake in
Mm-hmm.
drinking, we shouldn't partake in drugs, we shouldn't even, be actual around particular people. You have to carry and conduct yourself like you're a POW when you're dealing with this system as a black person, because you'll end up like Nolan. That's, we got to tell these kids this, and no offense to nobody else, but our kids for the most part get preyed upon. You
We
know what
have
I'm
to be
saying?
different. Everything is cool until something goes wrong, and then everybody's on the CYA.
Yeah, yeah,
If it was a terrible accident, I'm gonna tell you something right now. No disrespect and no racism included or involved. But if he was already gone, I can see the understanding being there's no need to ruin our lives for what we can't change. He's already gone. Get rid of the evidence.
yep.
Let's get this toe. And everybody keep your mouth shut. When you think about movies like I Know What You Did Last Summer,
I was just thinking about that, yo.
you know, a bunch of kids, there was an accident,
Yep.
someone lost their life,
Hmm.
CYA, and we never talk about this again. Like there are other possibilities other than some sinister plot. But sitting there listening to Funky Dineva, them boys know what they did. Them boys, y'all, Daniel, I want to shake you. You sound like a house nigga. You sound like you're worried about your proximity to whiteness and this and this and this. You know those boys did this. You know those boys did that. Like, no, he doesn't, and neither do you. It's easy to get up in arms. It's especially now, and that's why I'm saying, like, this case being drugged to the media the way it was drugged to the media after the Carmelo Anthony thing, in my opinion, is so fucked up because people are already enraged. We've been dealing with Chud the Builder all year. The chimping out thing. We've been dealing with white fighters calling Michelle Obama a man. We've been dealing with, people being depicted as monkeys. We've been dealing with, you know what I mean? Like, there's been a lot of racial tension going on in the United States in mass media all freaking year. And then the Carmelo Anthony situation, just complete and utter disrespect and divide. Meanwhile, we got one of our own, definitely not kinfolk, definitely just skin folk, running around making watermelon felon t-shirts. Like, all of this is going on. And then this kid dies. And I think there might be a possibility that us as Americans, especially the Black Americans, are taking all of that energy and we're pouring it into this because this kid is dead. And right? Am I wrong?
No, you were speaking on this whole little situation with this funky Dineva character. Now, forgive me for not
This
knowing
is
who
the
this
same
guy
as
is.
no, this is the same asshole that just a couple of months ago was running around talking about black men are the cancer of society. Straight black men are
Oh
the cancer of
yeah,
society. This hoe ass.
I remember that. I do remember that. Yeah, that's a problematic Negro right there.
He's always trying to get people up in arms about something and straight black men. And meanwhile, this, by the way, this pod today with Don Lemon, I don't know about the gentleman card, but he definitely did come off to me as at least bisexual, all gay panel with one strong black woman that left early while they sat there and pontificated. Like, and not that that means anything, but he's sitting there talking about if it was us, if it was us, these kids is acting this way. If it was us, if it was us, these kids are doing this. These kids are doing that. They should have been acting this way. First things first, you have gray hair, sir. These kids are 17, 18, and 19 years old. Doesn't that make them Gen A? That's generation. Is that generation A?
Alpha, correct. Yeah.
Okay. So these kids are different, period. Most of them are desensitized. They don't deal with death. They don't deal with emotions. They don't deal with trauma. They don't deal with it the same way that we did. Funky Dineva is definitely Generation X. Don Lemon is 60. Is that X or is he before that? Don Lemon at
He's
60, he would be, he's not Generation X. Is he?
no, I don't think so.
So, whatever the case may be, and if he is, then he's like the top of it because we're the bottom. You're what, 12 years behind Don Lemon? So, it's like, yeah, like he's like right there in between. I don't know if you would call it the boomer generation. Is the boomer generation before Generation X?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's right there in between boomer and X. Like he's on the cusp of that. So that's even further out of touch with these kids. Am I wrong?
He definitely wouldn't know what's going on with. He shouldn't know what's going on in depth with, um,
Gen
kids
A?
that are 18, 16, 18, 20. Yeah, that would be weird. But
And if
you
I'm
know,
correct, neither one of these men are fathers. They don't have children. So you're even further out of the loop. So saying that, oh, they should have been crying, let me tell you something right now. If this was an accidental situation and they decided to clean it up and leave Nolan behind, they're going to act strange. They're not going to act normal. And with, the racial divide being like, as like traumatic as it is right now, and they on a CYA mission, and one of the moms, the stepmom, is a judge. And the second they got home, it was all social media off, and they lawyered up, and then they holding on the phone and holding on the keys and not wanting to hand things over. Like you expect tears from them that I would have come to the funeral. No, they wouldn't have. No, they wouldn't have. All those black people there. You think those white boys was going to come to that funeral? With all that black power there, you think their white parents were going to encourage them to go? Does that make sense? It don't make sense to me.
nah, Mm-mm.
It don't make sense to me. And not only that, a lot of the black people that were in there weren't even from there. These are out of towners that are coming there with media and all of this stuff. The mother's the stepmom is a judge. I guarantee you, even if they wanted to go to their funeral, she told them that they couldn't. I bet you the lawyer said, do not go. Somebody's probably going to try to question you, get you on tape. Media is going to be there. They got media all over this. We don't need I guarantee you they weren't allowed to go, even if they wanted to. Meanwhile, this funky hoe is sitting here talking about, yeah, because there was no tears. And if it was my friend, everybody's their best friend. Why did they do this? Why did they do that? You're sitting there questioning their behavior. I mean, can we question Tyler Perry? Can we question all of the celebrity fanfare around all of this and why it needed to be so public? Can we question all of the media? Can we question all of the laughter and the joy in interviews with a dead child being hacked into? Like, we can question things on both sides. We can question having a party rather than a quiet repast and inviting the media to be there. Like, why is the media had to be involved? Like, it's one thing, a press conference. It's another thing, an interview. It's another thing, certain things. But this case has gotten, in my opinion, more direct media attention than the Carmelo Anthony case, and that had been a public thing on the books for over a year. Am I wrong? Like, they've done more media around Nolan Wells in 3 weeks than they did in Carmelo Anthony in a whole year. Or am I wrong? Am I over exaggerating?
No, no, that's true. Now let me
Much
circle
media.
back.
It's too much
Circle.
media.
Let me circle back when since you're speaking on media and this funky Dineva situation or whatever. So, like I said, I don't know too much about this guy, but he just reminds me of a Negro that says things like shock value, the gay male shock value, trying to be, but
Was friends with Tasha K.
well, there we go. But this clown, let me just call him that. I guess he's leaning into the backlash because he's had some stuff on the Don Lemon show, and his position seems to be that people may not like what he said, but he believes he voiced what others were already thinking about Nolan's friends and the circumstances around the boat trip. So he said Nolan Wells should have never been around that group of friends in the first place. And I understand what he's saying. He got a point, but
I understand what he's
read
saying, and
read
he's
the
got a
read
point.
the
But guess what?
no read
His
the room.
Yeah, go
I was
ahead. I'm
trying to
sorry. Go
finish.
ahead.
I was trying to
Please do.
finish.
My bad.
Re-
My bad.
he should read the room because the thing is I will use this as a talking point to tell the kids like y'all should maybe check out this podcast called The Cows. Now, people, we should be talking to the kids about predatory groups, not just, we got people that are out there. Like I was just talking to my nephew, and long story short, this one quote unquote musician that I've been knowing him for it was good over a decade now, and they known him as a young man, and now we're looking at him now, we're watching him, and he is a let's just keep it a buck. But he's been we don't have like he's gonna get taken care of. I'll just say it like that because people like that got to come to justice needs to be brought when you're dealing with people. Like if you've been watching this person, you kind of see they move a little different or whatever. Basically, they're predators. You should take note and let everyone else know. Be careful, with whatever, this kid, this guy likes to be around young girls. Let's just keep it a bug. That's what it is. And if he's starting an organization, he's talking about helping kids, You already know. We're already on that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
our kids should be aware of predatory type behavior in people. Like people were looking at me weird because I told my kids when they were like in kindergarten about PDFers. And now they're like, like the teachers was like, how do they know about? And I'm like, because I'm telling them this is a reality. We got people out here that do this.
It's the
Now,
world
was
we
I
live
wrong?
in.
Right. Was I wrong for that? No. I was just
Absolutely not. Because the second that you send them out into the world and they're not there under your direct supervision, they need to know what to protect themselves from.
so that's why I said all this funky guy needs to do is read the room. He was promoting this appearance on Don Lemon on Facebook, so you already know that was a clout chase. And he,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
he put it on Instagram. We were all thinking it, something like this. We were all thinking it. I was just bold enough to say it out loud. So he's not. He's one of these divas,
I wish he could
trying to get
sing.
attention.
I wish he could do something other than talk. I wish he was a singer. I wish he was a rapper. I wish he was anything other than a content creator so that he could go somewhere where his outrageousness fits and doesn't do catastrophic harm when it comes to very sensitive situations. Like, I don't
Yeah,
understand why he was included. I do not understand why this queen, because he is a queen. He is a man in makeup. He is a. Mm, my point is, personally, I just don't care for him. I don't. Because, see, I know how he built himself up on social media. I know who he was rocking with and who he was working with. I know a lot of the nasty, underhanded tactics. That's why I'm like, who are you to talk about how people's friends behave? Ain't you Tamar Braxton's friend? Ain't you her friend? Didn't you sit there and throw her under the bus and then use it for content? Ain't you her friend? Who are you to talk about friendship? Ain't you the same man who was just threatening to smack Tasha K upside her head and you like her husband, but you gonna go upside her head the next time you see it? Like, who are you? Like, he's salacious. And that's why somebody like him, I do not think should be involved in this conversation because all he's doing now is stoking the fires on racial hate. Like he's stoking it, and we don't even have all the details. Which is why I did appreciate what Daniel had to say. And I understand where they coming from. You know, he kept making it, oh, you kissing the white man's ass and you doing this and you doing that and you doing this. And my thing is like, is that true? Is that really true? Like he 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 runs with these stereotypes and then he throws it on people and then he encourages people to jump onto that. And all this kid Daniel is saying is, hey, I don't want to say anything until we get the facts because I'm not going to push this situation one way or the other. I see him being responsible. Don letting Funky Dineva do what he did was Don being messy and Don getting in ratings. And I get it. I get
right,
why he did it. I get why he did it. I do. But we got to do better. We got to do better because there's that young man's demise. It's got to be more than content. It's got to be more than content. And right now, that's what I see. I see people treating this kid's demise as content because there are no new facts. There's nowhere to go with this. So
right.
let's talk about where this goes. Since we're having this conversation, where does this go? Let's just say they did it. How about that? They did it. There was foul play involved, and these boys are responsible for the end of Nolan Wells' life. Let's just say that's true. Let's play devil's advocate. Then what? What happens next?
Well, in my opinion, and like I said, if you pay attention to the system, then what we're going to get is you're going to see that there's a two or three tiered system of justice in this country because these young men and women are connected. So they're going to be protected, meaning they're not going to get hella time. They're probably just going to get probation, slap on the wrist. That's likely what would happen. Now, for me, if it was not intentional, if they were doing a little, you know, playing, what do you call it, horse playing, and it turned into 7 years automatically, man. Like give them that. I'm across the board with it. Right. I'm just across the board with it. Exactly. Like, but this is what we will see. If we're gonna move forward, that's exactly what we will see. We're gonna see exactly that.
Hey, I got another one. I got another way to look at it. They're in Mississippi, in a predominantly white area. A jury of their peers is gonna look like what? What's a jury of their peers gonna look like? A bunch of young kids on their way to college, families crying in the galley, black on one side, white on the other, like a scene out of A Time to Kill. Al Sharpton sitting there, and the judge mom crying. With a jury of their peers. What if the jury just decides they're going to let them go? What happens when the toxicology report comes back? What if they were all stone drunk and had some kind of pharmaceuticals in their system? What then? They could let them walk. Am I wrong?
Nope.
And then all of this hoopla that we just went through, that we're going through now, what would that be for? What would that be for? The Al Sharpton of it all. The Ben Crump of it all. The Colin Kaepernick of it all. The Spike Lee of it all. The Terrell Owens of it all. What then? What would all of that add up to? Got to the bottom of it, found out what was going on, and then what? What's all of Funky Dineva's commentary gonna mean then?
Yeah.
You know they did it. You know they did it. And now they walk away. Now what? What you gonna do about it, mouth? See, what I'm seeing is that everything that's happening now with the media spectacle and all of this commentary about who's guilty and who's, who did it, who's hiding what, who's saying this, who's saying that. From someone who went from the North and moved to the South and lived and has been in the South for over a decade. The one thing I'm very clear about, and I'm going to cam up for this. The one thing that I'm very, very clear about is that when these little southern towns get challenged, they gather in close. They lock arm in arm and they protect their town. It doesn't matter anymore about right and wrong. They don't like the attention. And who dare is going to come to their neck of the woods and tell them how to run their town? Every post, every podcast, all of it is only going to encourage them to lock arms tighter. Y'all heard what that little light-skinned black boy had to say with his hat on to the back? What's the name of the town? Ocean Springs or something like that? Y'all don't know our town. And y'all going to regret coming up against our town. We're tight-knit. What does justice look like? For real. Those boys walking free and Ben Crump suing them and getting the family some money. Like, I really want to talk about that part. Since when does people suing and getting money for something that's invaluable, when does that become good enough? Like, I literally heard a content creator say, yeah, because the family has now filed a lawsuit against the boys and the people that are involved in all the things that are happening surrounding in doing this lawsuit. And I'm not saying that it's specifically for money. They're going to be able to, ask for, the turning over of phones, text messages, being able to subpoena, you know, uh, phone companies for text messages just in case things are, deleted out of phones, like raw data, raw footage, like all of these things. They all play like to get to the details, to get to the deets. Have they been conspiring in the backdrop? Have they been work? And all of that's great. But to listen to the content creator say, oh yeah, Ben Crump's gonna get them a ton of money. Why? I mean, I think to a certain extent, a wrongful death suit is legitimate. But I don't know. Do you think it applies in this? Like, so if the boys don't go to
Nolan.
jail, the family getting money. Do you
Um,
see it as an alternative to they're sitting here screaming justice, justice, justice.
so the family is suing. I say by any means, however they could get justice. If
Is
they
money justice though?
well, it liability. See, so that's like saying with slavery,
Hmm.
is reparations needed? You know what I'm saying? Well, technically, well, they're not going to give it. Let's just say that, and we're not bold enough to go take it. Let's just say it like that too. But what was done was wrong, and it says it in the Bible. If you did something wrong, you should be able to. If it ain't about like unalivement or something like that, you should be able to repair the
Mm.
situation. You could do it monetarily. You could. There's ways that you could do it. Now,
Even if it was
money
an
is what you say.
even if it was an accident.
Well, when there's restitution, when there's like manslaughter,
Got it. So I don't
uh,
know. For me, my thing
yeah.
is
So it's not necessarily saying it's justice.
if if money is what they're looking for as restitution for this, then why even bother? Why even bother to take the taxpayers through all of that?
I mean, it's
Like,
you go to all the different lengths to get justice. Again,
I
I think
guess.
the family has every right to. I would go for civil and criminal. Like I'm doing it all.
I can see that. At one point in time, I had thought about going after the family of the boy Caleb that took Giovanni's life for
Hmm.
wrongful, even though they refused to go after him criminally. I had thought about going after them, and then I started doing some checkup. They ain't really had much.
The funny thing is with your
It's not like
situation,
they were,
you could have
it's not
you
like
could have
they
went
were,
after the state. You literally could have went after the state because they,
it wasn't worth it. The fix was
yeah.
in. The fix was in. I could have went after the state, and I would have been paying for lawyers for 10 years just to walk away with only enough to pay for the legal fees that I had racked up over that time,
Hmm.
just to have it on the books. And Caleb ended up taking two more people's lives,
Yeah.
and he ended up going to jail anyway. And I said to myself, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord.
Yeah. That is true.
Because being in that legal battle just to claim money, it keeps me locked in with those people. It keeps me thinking about it. It keeps me invested in it. My son is gone, and their son is in jail for taking two other people's lives. It's enough loss. But when it comes to this situation, almost $1 million raised already. They're decent people with, a good life. I'm sure there's life insurance. How much more do they need? How much is going to make it better? And this is Mississippi. Ben Crump goes after them, they're going to have to move. They might already have to move with all of the heat that they bringing down on that town. Like, I hope they don't love it there, because I think they're going to have to move. Because there are going to be some people that are going to be pissed off at them for bringing all of this attention to their quiet little town. That's why I'm saying I think this all could have been handled very differently.
Yeah, it
I
could have.
think you could have brought Ben Crump in and said, I'll chill on Al Sharpton. I
Yeah.
think Colin Kaepernick could have donated the money for the independent autopsy without it needing to be announced who
Right.
did it.
Correct.
I If Tyler Perry wanted to take some money and donate it to a charity or to a sports team or a sports organization or to the college that Nolan was going to be going to in Nolan's name, right? I think that could have been fine. I think a press conference to announce what they're going to do, a press conference to announce the findings of the independent autopsy was enough. And, you know, the interview with Michael Strahan, the interview with Don Lemon. I think it could have stayed there. I don't think it needed all this attention.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they could have been a lot more modest about it. And if they're going to sue, then sue. But they've turned this thing into a whole media circus. And I think it's going to do more harm than good in the end. May get them some more money, but it ain't going to bring Nolan back. Meanwhile, you got all of these online strangers attacking your family in the midst of your grief. You've got angry neighbors. You've got an angry community because y'all decided to go to a bunch of outsiders and bring them there while they sit there and talk about Mississippi, Mississippi, Mississippi. Like the simple fact that the governor came forward and said something already lets you know their plan is to dig their heels in, lock them arms, and keep the strangers out of their affairs. I just think there was a much more diplomatic way to deal with this, especially considering that we still don't even know what actually happened to him and what the actual motivation is. Is it possible that he could have passed away from foul play and it had nothing to do with race? Like these were his friends. Like we
Yeah,
also had to take that in consideration too.
right.
I mean, I don't know. Usually racist groups that have a token don't have more than one. They had the other boy over there sitting there talking with Tatum. How many tokens do they got if they all racist? You know what I'm saying? Like they usually can't stand a bunch of black people around. Like I don't know. Like there's a lot. There's a lot that could have been done differently. I think they got carried away with it. I think a bunch of people came in and said, "Y'all lay back, y'all chill. We got this. We're gonna make sure you get justice." And I think they went along for the ride. I just don't know if they understand that when this whole thing is over, they're gonna be stuck with the real world outcome of how this turns out. And all of these people are gonna go back to their celebrity lives. Maybe Al Sharpton will be around for a little while. I don't know. I guess it all depends on if Rock Nation needs him to promote something new. Maybe another casino or something. It that's just where it is for me. Like that's what I'm looking. I'm asking myself when it comes to all of this, do the ends justify the means? What do you think?
Yeah. Well, you got a point. Does the end justifies the means? When you look at it from like as you get older, you gain wisdom, and you look at certain things with experience, and you're right. Sometimes it is kind of like, you know what, this is too much. This is, let me just not do too much or whatever. I do believe in, you know, seeking justice, but yeah, sometimes it's like it ain't worth it, and the ends don't justify the mean. Um, so yeah, but we'll see. I think, like you say, let's just let new things, let's let the developments proceed to how they're going to proceed, and we need to just pay attention. But
Mm.
I'm not about shit let nothing slide. Let's not you know let's not let nothing slide. Let's not give people passes. You know, I'm not about all that. So
Wow. Well, in the midst of all of that, we got
yeah,
another case, the D4VD case. And this case is something that we've been following from the very beginning.
yep,
And in my opinion, I believe that this case deserves a lot more attention now in the media than anything else going on. Personally,
And why you think that? Why you say that?
because this case addresses an issue that is affecting our country nationally, in my opinion.
And what's the issue?
The SA and AB use of children and teleporting of people.
Yeah.
The transporting of people, especially people under the age of consent. Last year, the D4VD case hit. It hit twice, actually. September 8th
It's when the body was discovered in a trunk. Yeah.
when the body was discovered in the trunk of D4VD's car, David Burke's car. Black Tesla, which he had stopped driving months before, registered to his home where his family is in Texas. Now, all the public knew was that it was David's car, that the body was found in there, but nobody knew at that time that it was a 14-year-old girl by the name of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. 2 days later, the Charlie Kirk incident happened. And the world was focused on that. And then the next thing you know, what was it, about a week after that? Because it was almost 2 weeks when they discovered it was a female, about 70, 80 pounds. And she had a tattoo on one of her fingers that said shush.
Mm.
Not long after that, they discovered that it was a girl that had been reported missing, runaway. She had been gone for over a year, or at least that's what was reported. And then the world started learning about Celeste. It was reported that maybe as young as the age 11, she met David. I believe it was inside the chat room for the video game Fortnite, I think, if I remember correctly. And the G-rooming process began there. Their relationship evolved over to Discord. And I guess at some point in time, between 12 and 13, they started meeting in real life. By the age of 13, as we just found out from the text messages in the court hearing for the preliminaries to decide whether or not David would be going to trial and facing charges for first degree homicide, it was discovered that she had been pregnant at least once, if not more. And she had been put in a situation to delete that child. There was also talk of her being involved, possibly with some other boys. Who knows how old they were? But her main relationship, from what it seemed, was with David Burke. We also found out that she had traveled out of the country with him, and it's looking like on more than one occasion. As we also just found out, the defense made it very clear that the parents knew because they gave permission for her to travel
Mm,
internationally with
mm,
David.
yeah.
Now, last year, when people first started taking pop shots at the family, I was reserved with doing that. Kind of like how Daniel is right now with this Nolan case. Because I remember, Odell, you making some comments about the family.
I specifically said well, I already knew. I figured, not like I knew. I'll just say I figured David's parents may have known something, but I said they need to investigate Celeste's parents. That's just what I said from the jump because a lot of stuff didn't look right. But go ahead, yeah.
Well, you said David's parents, and but you had also said Celeste's parents. You had,
Well, initially I said both, but I was really saying really looking to Celeste's parents because it's kind of
yeah, but
like
you remember there was there were those posts that were on Facebook, um, when her mom had got on Facebook talking about Celeste being
yeah,
missing, and
yeah,
then remember you saw the message of another woman saying you don't care about your kid because
yeah,
she was getting sent down to Mexico.
right, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah,
I think I tried to reach out to the somebody connected. No, of course nobody.
nobody responded.
Of course.
And now that David's defense has finally decided to come forth and show evidence and proof that Celeste Rivas Hernandez's parents knew about their relationship all of the time, gave him consent to deal with their very, very, very underage daughter. Gloves come off. Their financials need to be checked immediately. They need to be absolutely investigated, and they need to be charged with a crime, period.
At least
Because
neglect.
in the least, neglect. Because they have other kids, teenage kids. And it's funny because you remember when the brother was saying that they knew David?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say he heard about or he saw Celeste with. He said the family knew David. Even the mother said, I know she had a boyfriend named David. Why didn't anybody ask her how well?
Right.
More importantly, over the course of the past year, we've also found out that Celeste was going home and coming back to David and going home and coming back to David. And she had done that more than once. So why was she still allowed to be registered as a missing person with the police? Hmm. Do you remember what I said last year? I didn't want to come forward and say too much because I
Do I remember
already.
what?
Do you remember what I said last year regarding this case and how I felt? Actually, I think we have a video on this channel when I said that there is a line that you can draw from Diddy to David
Yeah,
when you're looking at all of this.
yeah.
Now, if people remember, after Cassie's lawsuit came out and the feds started investigating Diddy, Cassie's lawsuit hit late November 2023. The feds investigated into 2024. The raid happened. What was it? March or April?
When was it? 2024 March.
Was it March or was it April? But well, late March, early April, the HSI raid on all of Diddy's properties nationally happened. And then May 17th, Friday, 2024, the video of Cassie being assaulted by the diddler hit CNN and hit the world. Now, Diddy wasn't officially arrested until September.
Hmm.
A good 10 months after Cassie's lawsuit hit.
Hmm.
And if we're talking March,
March, April to September is about 5 months.
another 5 months, it was March 25th. Thank you, Golden Aries. So, yeah, late March, April, May, June, July, August, September. That's 6 months.
6 months.
It took them 6 months.
It took them 6 months to get their lie together.
To get their game plan together.
And it's similar. It's funny you say it because I was just thinking about because you said the direct line to D4DV. Go ahead.
Mm-mm. I'm glad you're following me. See,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. Sometimes we bump into each other and we talk over each other because we're thinking the same thing at the same time. Your mind moves fast like mine,
Well, the
but I just
irony is
the time.
the irony is if you take the timeline that you said from March, April of 2024 to September,
Mm-hmm.
the timeline for
D4VD.
D4DVD, he unalived, or wait, let's not say he did. Let's because we're still going through the case. Alleged,
Celeste
she was
Hernandez.
unalived around
Lee.
no, of yeah April of yeah April of the following year,
April
and
of 2025.
and
Right
then
at a month after the HSI raid on Diddy.
but it was yeah, it was that same year 2025 or 20, it was a
Yeah,
year later.
no, it's 2025.
No, I
Celeste
know. Did he happen in 2024?
happened in his arrest happened in 2020 in 2024,
Right.
and his raid, yeah, so yeah, it was a year after his raid.
Right. So a year after his raid is when
Celeste lost her life
yeah, and then 6 months later, she's found in
April,
his
May, June, July, August, September. 5 months.
5 months. 5 months. So it seems like it took them 5 months to figure out how they're gonna lay this all out.
Well, think about it. That happened. She was discovered. His tour was canceled because he went on tour.
Yeah. I was gonna get into the timeline of,
But
and
let's
that's the
see,
one that,
October,
that
November, December, January, February, March, April, May. Was it May he was arrested? How long has David been in jail?
that was it was April. It was April.
It was
It was
April.
a
Okay.
it was a
Because it was a year
when
after she
yeah,
had passed away. So September, October, November, December, January,
right.
February, March, April, 7 months.
So it was like 7 months.
It took them
So
7 months. Yeah.
they were already planning on how this was all going to play out for 6 months, 5, 6 months, so a year later, they already knew what was going to happen. They were pretty much just getting their ducks in a row, crossing their T's, dotting their I's.
Kind of just did with Diddy,
Yeah,
and everything that they did with Diddy was to quarantine the exposure to only affect him and not everything around him that was connected to it. So let's talk about David. There's absolutely no way in the world that his management team, personal or business, security, had no idea what was going on with Celeste. There's no way. The international travel kills their ability to say they did not know how old she was. It kills it. They would have had to, and with the parents giving permission, that lets us know that they knew how old that girl was. And Kat, it's beyond, it's their job to know. Going into foreign countries, they have to have all of the details for international travelers, especially children. All of their information for them coming in, who's going to be receiving them, what if they need a vaccine shot? You know what I mean? Like there could be something going on. There might be some kind of shots required, all depending. It, it's there are different things that they need to know. They also need to know who they're going to be with, where they're going to be staying, what hotels they're going to be in, especially considering that she wasn't being received by family members. This is all too much information for people to pretend like they did not know that they were transporting a minor.
I think they're gonna brush. I'm sorry, I'm probably jumping the gun. I just think they're gonna brush all this under the rug. They put all this out there in the beginning, in anticipating that people will forget. The parents need to be both parents, both set of parents. Well, definitely the mom because the mom knew, and Celeste's
All
parents.
the mothers.
They need to be charged, and hopefully this uncovers what this or entertainment industry really is on for the most part because this is what
When
they
I
do.
think about when I think about that statement that his manager made, the one who owned the company that got picked up eventually by Interscope. That guy got on TikTok and made the statement, "We don't know anything about this. I rented the house for him. I don't know nothing about this. I got a 14-year-old daughter, and
Full of
this is
crap.
affecting my family.
Full of
Please
crap.
don't let this whoopty whoopty woo, yada, yada, yada."
You know what, Jack? Someone said somebody entertainer said this guy had David had a what a $4 million contract. Wasn't even known. Wasn't someone that was big. Of course, they were gonna push and propel him to be something. I know Scissor Harry got hella disassociated from him quick.
And so did what's her name that made that song with him? What was her name?
Jeez,
Caliucci.
they
You
hurried up
remember
and said, "Up,
right as Celeste remains were being discovered for what it was, and that she was actually connected to David Caliucci. Remember she had that song? She was dressed
got
in
a
the red
video."
all of that. They had a video and
I,
everything.
I I downloaded the video. They got rid of it. They said get it off the internet.
Why didn't they get everything off the internet?
Hmm.
All of his music should be boycotted. All of his music should be banned. His be his bloodlust, his necromancy. How is any of this good? What it encourages, the spirits that it propels. Thank you so much, aliens. This is everyone failed Celeste. And what's crazy is, I guarantee you, they're going to try to find a way to blame her for her own demise. A child,
What
a young
the
girl.
the defense is already saying she may have unalived herself.
And she
She
was
was
dangerous.
bipolar, or yeah, they're already running with that right now.
All of those things, then why in God's name did he put her in an Uber all the way from Lake Elsinore, where she was over an hour away, and bring her there the night that she died? Why? See, I don't think Celeste is deceased because they're trying to cover that relationship between her and David. In my heart of hearts, and we're going to dig into this and we're going to keep looking. And if there's anyone out there from Lake Elsinore who knows anything about this, please reach out to me. I want to talk to you because I believe that there was a human transporting effort. I believe that Celeste was aware of it. I also believe that there was money that was traded for
Mm-hmm.
silence, for
Mm-hmm.
her time, and for her flesh. And I also believe she probably knows other children that that was happening to as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she was trying to blow the lid off of her relationship. I think she was trying to blow the whistle on what they had going on. And when you think about the fact that David was in video games, in discords, consorting with children, talking with minors, and people have said Celeste was not the only young girl he was talking to. What if he was a part of a ring and they were using him to procure children? They would want to protect that. His attachment to the industry, his R. Kelly and Diddy like behavior.
He was
He's
ready for the throne.
They were definitely shaping him to be the next kind of monster that the industry likes to have. I think there's a lot more to this case. I think there's a very good possibility that Celeste was potentially a whistleblower. See, that's the kind of thing that'll make you want to do something drastic to shut something up that you're afraid of being exposed. The fact that they were moving her around on planes the way they were moving her around on planes. How much money do you think allegedly was paid to her family for
I
them to
have
be
no
able
idea.
to access
Yeah,
so that they wouldn't go to the police and say that she was home? Because, see, them not reporting that she had come home made it possible for David to have access to her, for her to not have to go to school.
right. That's where I was about to go. I was going to say, I need to speak to staff and teachers, administrators there at her school.
Like, think about that. Why did her family allow her to stay a runaway if she had come home on several occasions? Why would they not call the police and say she came home? Why would they leave? Because, see, if she comes home, then she has to go to school. And if she has to go to school, then she can't be available to be a teenage beck and call girl.
Right.
See, them leaving her a runaway. And see, I'm going to tell you this right now. I was a teenage runaway. And you know what? My dad had my picture in substations, G. My dad went to the police, demanded arrest on anybody that I got caught with if they were older than me. Like, and when I came home, my dad called the police and said, she's home. And the police would say, do you need us to have a social worker call you to set up counseling for your family? See, her coming home would have triggered all kinds of agency interaction in their family, in their household. Am I wrong, Odell?
No.
They would have had a whole lot of people in their business. She would have had to go back to school, otherwise, she would have been considered truant. She wasn't even in high school, she was in middle school. Her remaining a runaway on the record, that just made it easier for her to be transported on whim.
But explain if she's a runaway on record, but then, she's able to get on planes and go to London and stuff like that. Like, explain that. How does that work?
What do you mean? How does that work? She could
I'm
have been
asking the
homeschooled.
question. How does it work?
They could have lied and said that she was homeschooled, right? She was going to be with a rich and famous singer. The parents
No,
gave permission.
no, listen. She was labeled a runaway.
She was labeled a runaway, and
Oh,
yet
what I'm
you,
I
you're
know
you're at
I gotta finish.
no. I hear what you. But go ahead.
She's labeled a runaway.
Mm-hmm.
So she's already in the system as someone that's like, okay, if she comes up in the airport, if she comes up here, then she's flagged. So how is she still able to get on planes or like get off to other parts of the world essentially?
Money. Pay people to look the other way, which is why I'm saying that there's no way, in my opinion, that David is in on this alone,
Yeah,
and
we
that
know
it
that.
power no, but it would be powerful people to be able to move these pieces around to stop her from being picked up at an airport as a runaway. See, in my opinion, this is the case that needs the kind of attention that Nolan Wells is getting right now.
Yeah.
If you got a human transporting ring that specializes in underage people, trust me, they got people that they moved. How long have I been telling people that in the industry, the entertainment industry as a whole, creates a very welcoming environment for transporting and teleporting, especially of little people. Registered as a groupie, registered as an intern, registered, you see, it's so easy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm. So, yeah, we got a lot to look into. And while everybody is busy running around chasing their tail, like they were with the Diddy trial, and we were focused on Demore Hadley, while everyone's running around doing the same thing, we're going to be focused on this because, especially considering in the wake of the Jeffrey E. file exposures, this case should have everyone's attention.
Mm-hmm.
Overlooking this case in any way is just making it very clear that we're only interested in certain kinds of trauma. Yet, we are desensitized to the worst kinds of atrocities. Like right now, the thing that I'm hating is that Nolan Wells' death is being used to gloss over some very, very, very real and serious circumstances that need our attention. Why is that? What's the hell is wrong in America where we're addicted to to obsessing over this kind of trauma, but when it comes to this atrocity, oh, that's just too dark. Oh, well, there's
No, you're
nothing.
you're you're getting you're getting you're getting what they remember Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings.
Yeah.
There, even the Pocahontas situation. Like, there's many instances where you have little girls and grown men, and yeah, that's just what happens in this country.
It's all too common in American history, and we're sitting around and we're pretending. I know, I know, but in America, it's like trauma is the new McDonald's. So yeah, um, I when I think about what that little girl went through, though, when I think about what they did to her, the fact that she wasn't even 100 pounds. She was a teenager for less than 2 years. She has more pictures of her in her life as a little person than She never had a womanly body. She didn't make it that far. So the pictures that we see her, taller and older with David, like that's barely 2 years of her life. She was a little. Makes me think about Nova's mom, that party girl, talking about the Harajuku Barbies and the little people that she found at Diddy parties that they
Mm-hmm.
glossed over.
Mm-hmm. Ain't nobody talking about.
David and his Discord. I wish they would shut that site down because it seems like nothing but evil and
No,
disgusting things.
let's keep it open and drag the filth out. It's almost like the Craigslist stuff where they kept it open, or at least the SEX side of it for a minute, and then, they were doing a lot of cleaning up.
Yeah, but are they cleaning
Discord.
up? Are they cleaning up in Discord?
Yeah, I think so. I'm hearing some stuff. So
Jeez Louise. Well, on that note, guys, we've been here for a little bit. We'll see you guys later.
hmm
Patreon and Kick Crew, keep your notifications on. We'll be popping up soon. And don't forget, here on the channels, we got the weekend wrap up as always. That should be interesting. And
hmm
yeah, this was today. The cases, what they mean, and where they lead. I want to say thank you to Wolfgang Amadeus, Set in the West, for being the most fabulous co-host, and for being very, very diligent with your smell goods. That
hmm
yours is ridiculous. With the brute,
hmm
too much. That was too much. Splits,
hmm
just all over the. Lord have mercy. I looked at that and I said, "My God."
Somebody say, "Oh no." Myrna said, "Oh no."
I can't. I can't. I can't. Look, we had to talk. We talked about some serious stuff today. Gotta leave on a light note.
Baby girl talking about that AI. No, that's really me. I'm that old.
Okay. Whatever. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Y'all make sure y'all get on over there to Set in the West and y'all get at a like and a comment. It just out of control. Out of control. So yeah, on that note, we out of here. And before we go, a word from um the
Yeah, what
infamous.
about that's your body?
Some of y'all don't want to hear
Archangel
that because you
Michael's
don't live
phone.
in reality. But I'm telling you, as a psychologist, I'm not going to be able to psychologize all them on the corner. Some of them going to sleep for good!
That part. Peace.